Hey guys, it's Audrey. I am camping this weekend. Actually, the last time I recorded one of these, it was a year ago, or 11 months ago, and I was also camping, so I'm going to make this like a yearly thing. I'm going to go camping, solo camping, and just be one with nature. So wow, it's been a full year or 11 months since I recorded a vlog. A lot has changed in a year. I think going into it would be too much. So I think I'll just leave it at that. My birthday was yesterday. I turned 33, so that is cool. I had a nice relaxing birthday. And tomorrow I'm supposed to have a birthday party. Hopefully it doesn't get rained out because it's supposed to storm in the morning, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, today I thought we would go over boundaries with BPD. Now there are two aspects to boundaries. We have setting and asserting our own boundaries and maintaining our own boundaries, and then of course you have respecting and listening and observing other people's boundaries. At least in my experience, both of those were particularly hard. I don't know if it's actually caused by BPD or just how I was raised, but I always had a really bad problem with people pleasing. This is something I'm still working on and trying to improve. I had trouble saying no. I have trouble. I just say yes to a lot of stuff, and then I put too much on my plate, and then I burn myself out. That's been a repeating cycle for many years. I've gotten better with it gradually over time, but it's still a work in progress. And as far as respecting others' boundaries go, I personally used to take like being told no and anything to do with that as a personal attack. So respecting others' boundaries was actually very, very hard for me as well. And I'd probably definitely say that BPD had a big role in that fact. So I've gotten better with respecting others' boundaries and not taking them personally. Definitely was a hard thing to do. It was I had to actually like put in effort to get better with it. It really came down to realizing that one, boundaries are a benefit for everyone involved. They make for healthier relationships. They make for healthier individuals, happier people, higher emotional intelligence, and you also just make other people feel good, which is a good thing. So, just realizing and then remembering when, like, in the moment, that boundaries are good for everyone. And then it also came down to putting myself in other people's shoes. Even if I don't really agree with something, I can see how another person may feel differently than me, and realize that the boundary that they're placing, while different than what I would place for myself, is still something that should be respected. Ooh. So I mean, just remembering that, like, if something were to trigger me was really helpful. Also comes down to learning how to validate yourself. So this way, when someone asserts a boundary and may not be able to validate you, you can just do it yourself. Because usually when someone's asserting a boundary, you have to put their feelings above your own, maybe, depending on the context. So it's not a time for them to really be validating you. This is a time when you should be validating yourself. But that's a general thing that could change given the context for any different situation. Now, the people pleasing, oh man, that has been harder to overcome. I would say I don't know. I don't know why. I guess it's just easier to put myself last, I guess. So in a way, like, people pleasing, in my opinion, is almost selfish. Because, at least for me, I mean, I'm not going to say everyone who's a people pleaser is selfish, but what I've realized with myself is that, I would kind of get into the habit of people pleasing to avoid feeling something uncomfortable. And in turn, I may say something, I may agree to something that I really can't emotionally or physically handle. So then I end up letting them down, instead of just saying no and being uncomfortable in the moment. I don't think it's a behavior that was done with ill intent. It's just something that, ended up being very selfish instead of actually pleasing to others. So, just realizing that makes me, or has made me, want to overcome that. Being able to say no is a strength. In one instance, recently, I think this was probably like 2 months ago, I wrote about this on my Instagram, so if you follow me there, you may have seen it, or on Facebook too. Usually, like, if a guy asks for my number or my Instagram, which a lot of guys seem to do nowadays, they ask for your Instagram instead of a number. Usually when that happens, though, I just tell people I'm in a relationship. 2 months ago, a guy asked, and I said the truth. I said, I'm not dating. I'm not interested in pursuing a relationship with anyone. And I just told him that. And, it's such a small thing, but even just being honest and just saying I'm not interested, saying no, I don't know, it's a little empowering. And being able to say no helps me and others, like with yourself, respect your own boundaries. So, yeah, it's all a work in progress, but those are just some of the things that I've done to help myself. And I really wish these clouds would just go away. It definitely put a damper on the camping trip. It almost makes me sad because you could see the blue sky above the clouds that are like rolling in. So it's like, what could be, what is. And it goes to like radical acceptance. Like, well, I'm not really sure how you could apply the affirmation, all events have led up to now. But it is what it is a good saying for that. I guess that's why I might not be, I feel like I'm not as cheery in this video. I'm kind of spent. So I don't even know if this was helpful. I hope it was in some way, but I'm going to cut it off here because it's 10 minutes and no one watches videos that are over 10 minutes, it seems. Unless it's like super entertaining, which I am not, so. Alright guys, have a good one. Bye.